Due to the fact that most of the people that are involved with this particular case are still living, we have changed their names to protect their identity. Also, some material in this episode may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is advised. I'm not exactly sure why she called this thing a Dybbuk box. It looks like a normal cabinet to me. Everything that you've just witnessed was inspired by true events. The subject of today's episode is going to be about a box that is similar to this one right here. Now, there were 3 owners of this box, and all of the owners claimed that they had paranormal experiences and health issues surrounding the box. So in today's episode, we're going to be speaking about why the box could cause this, why these people are having these experiences and issues, and if there actually is something trapped inside of the box. Today's episode, we're going to be looking into the mysterious Dybbuk Box. Now, to talk about the mystery that is the Dybbuk Box, we have to start at the beginning, and that means that we're going to have to be talking about the very first owner of the box. Now, the first owner of the box was a woman by the name of Havela. She lived in Poland during World War II and was a Holocaust survivor and a Jewish woman. Now, after World War II and the horrors that the Holocaust put on Europe, she left and traveled to Spain before she came to the United States. Now, while she was in Spain, she purchased a wine cabinet, and when she first bought it, it was just that, a simple cabinet to hold wine. But one night that was filled with curiosity and panic would change that simple wine cabinet into what we now know as the Dybbuk Box. Now, during this time in Europe, it was a very popular thing for people to try to get in contact with spirits or get in contact with the spirit world. And they did this by means of Ouija boards and holding seances. And Havela and her friends were no different. One night they got together and they made a makeshift Ouija board that consisted of a bed sheet with letters, numbers, and symbols drawn on it. They would then hold one pendulum above the sheet and ask questions. The spirit would then swing the pendulum over the letter, number, or symbol to answer their questions. And when they first started, they did make contact with some spirits. And all of these spirits were friendly. They would answer the question and then they would leave. However, towards the end of the seance, they got in contact with a being that seemed to be malevolent in nature. When they would ask this spirit questions, the spirit would answer in a vulgar or violent way, sometimes the answers having nothing to do with the original question. It seemed like this spirit just wanted to mess or scare the girls. And then, as they were talking with it, the spirit started moving objects within the room, banging on the wall and scratching on the wall, scaring them even further. Havela then immediately went and performed a ritual to bind the spirit to the closest object in the room, which happened to be the wine cabinet. And when she did, the session stopped and the paranormal experience ended. So that begs one to question, did she really capture the spirit in the box. Now, most of us would classify this spirit as just a malicious, evil spirit that just likes to scare, torture, and just plain out toy with people. However, in Jewish folklore, there is a term for this sort of being, and the term is referred to as a Dybbuk. A Dybbuk is a malicious spirit of a once living person that has turned evil in their death. They are also believed to have the ability to possess the living. Now, there are rituals and spells that people practice to this day that bind and or trap a spirit or a spiritual being inside of an inanimate object, like a wine cabinet. So what Havela did may not have been that far off from what people are still doing to this day. Now, there is another being that is well known for being trapped or imprisoned in objects. These beings are infamous in the Islamic folklore and are the inspiration for the modern day character known as a genie. But these beings were called jinn, and according to the Quran, they were created from smokeless fire at the same time man was made from clay and angels were made from light. There are claims that people would trap these beings in lamps. Now, when Havela trapped the spirit in the box, she guarded and kept that box until the day she died at the amazing age of 103 years old. Now, some of her family members describe her actions whenever the box was mentioned or asked about. Whenever anybody would ask about the box, she would refer to it as the Dybbuk Box. And if anybody asked why she never used it or opened it, she would spit in between her fingers 3 times and say it was to never be opened. Now, when Havela died, a lot of her personal belongings were sold at an estate sale, which is what happens when some of the family members don't know what to do with certain items. And the Dybbuk Box was one of these items, and it was placed on a pallet and was bidded on. Now, one of the people, we're going to name him Bill, bid on that specific pallet. Now, Bill ran an antique store in the town near where Havela lived. And when he bought this pallet, he inadvertently bought the Dybbuk Box and brought it to his store. Now, when he brought it to his store, he was examining the box and thought that it looked beautiful and really cool. And he reached out to touch it, and when he did, the box opened on its own. Now, he explained this away as maybe the box had some sort of mechanism to it, but what he didn't realize is when that box opened, all hell was about to break loose in his shop and his life. Now, when Bill initially opened the box, it did have some items inside of it. He first noticed that there were 2 pennies from the year 1920. He also found a candle holder that was silver and had octopus-like legs. There was also a golden small chalice, no doubt for drinking the wine that used to be stored in it. Also, what was odd, he found a lock of blonde hair that was bound in string. He also found another lock of hair that was brown or black that was also bound in string. Now, after examining the box, Bill placed the box in the basement of the store, which was actually larger than the store itself. He placed it down here with some other merchandise that he wasn't exactly sure where to put it yet. Now, one day, when Bill had to run some errands, he entrusted one of his most trusted employees to open up the store for him. Now, while he was gone, the employee was down in the basement fixing up some of the merchandise, getting it ready to put on the sales floor, and also cleaning. When she was down there, she started hearing footsteps, like somebody was down in the basement with her. She assumed that it was a customer that got lost in the store and found their way into the basement. So she replied by saying, "Excuse me, could you please go back upstairs and wait for us to open? We're not open yet." Nobody replied. She peered around and looked and saw nobody in the basement with her. Now, this is when it starts to get a lot worse. The light bulbs in the basement started physically bursting, leaving glass on the floor. Then all of a sudden, some of the merchandise started breaking on the shelves by themselves. She described it as somebody walking through the aisles with a baseball bat, slamming into the merchandise. She, of course, was scared and called Bill, who was in town. Bill answered the phone and heard her terrified voice and heard all of the commotion that was going on in the basement. Now, his phone died before she could get all of the experience out to him, but he turned his car around and went back to the shop in a very hurried fashion. Now when he got there, he found that the door to the basement was locked, which he knows he only has the key for, and he would not have locked her down in the basement alone. So he unlocks the door, goes down into the basement, and it's completely dark. He has to bring out a flashlight to see where he's going. He eventually finds the employee, scared and terrified, who yells at him for putting her through something like that, and quits, and has never returned to the store till this day. Also, if this occurrence wasn't enough, Bill then decides to give the box to his own mother as a birthday present. Now he walks away after she's examining it, and she thinks it also looks beautiful and awesome like he did. But she then starts to feel a overwhelming sense of anxiety and dread when she's peering at the box. She then opens the box, and literally, when she opens the box, right then and there has a stroke in the middle of the store. Now, it could be a coincidence that she did have a stroke at the same time she opened the box. However, she was in well enough health before obtaining the box, and ever since then has not had a stroke since. So it makes one wonder if something in the box physically attacked her, causing her to have a stroke. And after this, Bill finally understood that something was going on with this box. After these horrible events, Bill started to take the box seriously. He tried very hard to get the box out of his shop by selling it to people, and there was an older couple that did buy the box. But days later, they returned the box, just leaving it at the door without trying to get their money back or anything. It had a note on it that said, "There's a strange darkness about this box." He tried so hard to get people to buy it, but nothing worked. So eventually, he took the box to his own residence to try to prevent the entity inside from doing harm to his business and his customers that came into his shop. Now, when he took it home, that night he started experiencing so many different things. He started experiencing horrible nightmares that involved a hag attacking him. He said normally what would happen is that it would be a normal dream. He would be in a safe place with someone that he trusted. And then halfway through the dream, the person that he trusted turned into this ugly, horrid-looking hag that would claw at his face, his whole body, and just completely attack him. He would wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night, and he would try to go back to sleep only for the dream to repeat itself over and over and over again. No matter what he did, he could not escape this nightmare. Also, on the day of bringing home the box, he smelled the smell of cat urine and jasmine flowers. Now, there are smells that are associated with ghosts if they are strong enough. Most of the time, these smells have something to do with either how they died or what they did when they were alive. Something like jasmine flowers that smells nice could be a good sign. But whenever you smell the smell of sulfur or urine or something that doesn't smell good, it's never a good sign. Now, after he started having all of these horrible experiences, he knew that he couldn't even keep it at his own place. So what he did was he went online and he tried to sell it. Now, there were some students at a college in Missouri that wanted to get the box. Well, one of the roommates in particular. He joked about having a haunted wine cabinet in the dorm. The other roommates didn't really think it was a good idea. But one day, one of the roommates came home to the smell of cat urine and jasmine flowers and found that his roommate in fact did buy the Dybbuk box. And at first nothing really happened. Until they had a party one night and opened the box in front of all of their friends and peers as a joke, even putting one of the girls' hands inside of the box to freak them out. Now after this is when it started to get a little eerie. The roommate then kept a blog about all of his experiences with the box. He started writing on the blog that he was having similar nightmares and that he was starting to like his health was deteriorating. He also became depressed and secluded from everybody that he knew. One of his health problems, besides being depressed, was his hair started to fall out in large clumps. Now mind you, this person was in their early 20s going to college. To my knowledge, unless there's a special case, early 20-year-olds do not start losing their hair. One other thing that the roommates noticed that made them want to sell the box was that the one roommate noticed that there were a large amount of bugs crawling through the house, and when he looked at the box, the bugs were all over the box and up the wall. He knew at this point something evil was inside. So, on the blog that the one roommate was keeping his experiences on, he posted that he was going to put the box up for sale, which then caught the attention of the next owner of the box that we are going to call Jeff. Now, Jeff followed the roommate's blog very closely and became very interested in the box. And when the roommate decided to put the box back online for sale, Jeff became extremely delighted. He kept bidding and bidding until the box was his. He wanted to acquire the box and be able to scientifically and rationally explain what's been going on with the box. Now, when Jeff finally obtained the box, he brought it to the museum that he ran, and he started performing tests on the box and the things inside of it. He tried every test that he could think of and could not explain why anybody would be having the experiences that they were. Now, the longer this box stayed, the heavier the feeling that his employees told him that he saw, or that they felt. And light bulbs also started bursting in the museum. Laptops and electronic devices started failing. And people even started seeing apparitions in the office. They were threatening to quit. And at this point, Jeff knew that he couldn't keep it in the museum, so he took it to his home to try to maybe figure out what was going on. Now, when Jeff was in possession of the box, he started to experience a lot of health issues that were unexplained. Some of these health issues ranged anywhere from his eyes being the color of blood, and he also experienced the sensation of coughing up blood. Now, not only did Jeff have health issues with the box, he also had some paranormal experiences as well. He also had dreams like Bill did, where he saw visions of hags or deformed older women. And he could not escape from these dreams, just like Bill couldn't. Now, these hags weren't attacking him, but it still left a sense of dread and anxiety when he would have these dreams and wake up scared, only to go back to sleep to have the same dream. Now, after a while, he realized that he could not keep the box in his house. What made him realize this is one night him and his son was watching television. And his son ran over to him and said, "Dad, what is that in the corner?" And he looked, and a giant, black, misty, formless mass was traveling up from the floor to the corner of the ceiling and floating above them. He knew at this point he needed to get rid of this box. And that's what he did. He took it to an empty rental property that he and his wife owned and placed it in the basement, hoping that it would leave his house. But he was dead wrong. He went back that night and took a bath to cleanse himself of everything that happened. While he was taking a bath, he leapt from the bathtub with a feeling of something tearing at his organs on the inside of his body. He is hunched over on the tile floor in pain as this clear, white, mucus-like liquid comes pouring out of his mouth onto the floor. Now, after he recovers from this, his wife then comes upstairs and shows him these blisters that have plagued her wrists, that have all popped with blood spewing from them. He knew that he needed to take a different action other than just taking it out of his house. And that's what he did. Now, Jeff contacted local rabbis to help him with his situation. And after he received their help, he put the box in a secret location. Now, as of this date, Jeff refuses to tell anybody where he placed the box. He also refuses to sell the box to potential buyers. And as of right now, the whereabouts of this box are unknown. Now, this box has got quite a lot of attention over the years. It has made its way into 2 television shows and even a book about it. Now, the fact that this box went through the 3 famous owners and all of them had similar experiences and or health issues is completely uncanny. Now, the people could have done research into the claims that all these people were saying that they had, and that could have affected them into their brain, making them happen. However, these people did not know each other prior to each one of them owning the box. Also, their experiences and health issues, where they are similar, they are also different at the same time, which excludes the brain playing tricks on them. Now, Bill and Jeff, they did experience the dreams with the hag and the frightening reoccurring nightmares. However, Jeff received more health issues than Bill did. Jeff experienced the coughing of the blood red eyes, and the coughing of the mucus-like clear liquid. Now, Jeff and the roommate also experienced health issues together. However, the roommate became extremely depressed and extremely secluded from everybody that he knew. He also began losing his hair in large clumps. Now, there are practices and rituals and people that do practice the art of binding spirits and or spiritual beings to inanimate objects. So there could be something to trapping a spirit in the claimed wine cabinet. And Havela may have actually done that. She could have trapped a Dybbuk in the box. But, unfortunately, due to the fact that the box whereabouts are unknown, we may never know if there really is a Dybbuk in the box. We may just have to rely on eyewitness testimony and people's word. Because Jeff refuses to tell people where the box is. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe Jeff locked it up and he refuses to tell everybody because he doesn't want everybody to experience what he and the others experienced. And like I said, it could be a good thing. Because maybe this horrible being that could be inside of the wine cabinet may never harm another person. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you liked what you saw today, please do not forget to hit that big red subscribe button below. Also, like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Those links will be put in the description box below as well. Also, if you liked it, please like, comment, or share this video with your friends and your family because a lot of work goes into these videos, not just from me, but from my cast and my crew as well. And we like to see the work get out there and people enjoy watching these videos. Also, still, if you have any story that you can't explain or think has paranormal elements to it, please either comment on this video below or contact me on Facebook or Twitter and tell me about your story. And who knows, maybe it might be a future episode on the show. Also, like I said before, Season 1 is almost coming to a close. We have 2 episodes left. After that, I'm going to be taking a break for a little bit to get everything planned for Season 2. Also, I'm going to be starting 2 other channels as well. I will let you know on a further date when those are going to be up and running. Also, I just rebooted my musician page on Facebook and my channel on YouTube, where I will be posting covers of songs every Monday and Wednesday starting today. Also, so please go over there, subscribe to that, check out some stuff I've done for that as well. A lot of things are going to be coming out here soon. So please keep your minds, ears, eyes open for all that stuff that's coming out. And I'll see you next time.